Hello, doers, and welcome back. My name is Jose Ignacio. Today, we're using Odoo's dispatch management system to manage our internal fleet of delivery trucks to ensure we deliver our fresh veggies efficiently from our farm to our customers. Today, we're getting pastoral and working at Odoolicious, our family farm. We deliver to individual households and businesses. So, depending on our order volume, we use different types of trucks. When we're loading items onto the truck, Odoo helps us track the weight and volume, making sure that we're never loading too much cargo on a delivery truck. Once the truck is loaded, we can even use Odoo's Mapbox integration to automatically generate directions to the customer's delivery address. All right, enough chit chat. Time to see what it looks like in the database. To begin, we're going to enable some features in the inventory application. So we're going to go to configuration and then settings. Perfect. We're going to make our way to this operations section where we're going to make sure that we have batch wave and cluster transfers as a feature enabled. This is used to prepare batches of orders for delivery. We're also going to go down to this shipping section that we have right here, and we want to make sure the dispatch management system feature is enabled. That's the star of the show. So up next in our warehouse section, which I'm going to go down to as well, all the way down here at the bottom, we're going to make sure that we have storage locations enabled and multi-step routes so that we can define loading zones for our trucks in Odoo. Finally, in order to retrieve maps for orders that are about to be delivered, we need to make sure that we add a Mapbox token. So let's open up the general settings from the left-hand sidebar over here and scroll down to our integration section. We're almost there. Perfect. All right, here we are. So here we are inside of our little integration section. So right here, we happen to actually have our nice little blurred out token, but that's where it'll go. We've already generated one from our Mapbox account and we've entered it here. You're going to need to do that too. If you don't have an account, you can use the link to create one and it's going to be down below in the description. Or you can use the one right there. I mean, either one works right there. Anyways, after you add a Mapbox token, click Save over here if it's your first time enabling or doing any of these things. All right, next, let's quickly explain our delivery setup. So we use two-step delivery when we have a specific output zone for loading items onto vehicles, like Odoolicious. So this setup adds separate stock and output locations, ensuring outgoing items stay separate from storage. This way, one team moves shipments to a specific truck's output zone, and the truck loading team only needs to load from that dock. That means the people loading our trucks won't go into our storage and grab the wrong things. In other words, the pickup truck guys won't accidentally take things intended for the cargo truck, for example. Now, don't worry, this works for one and three-step delivery. So, as long as we batch our deliveries, we can't set a dock location in one step, but when we batch, we can still select a truck to load to. So we've linked some documentation on one and three-step delivery below. We're actually going to see how to batch in a bit as well. All right, so let's configure our warehouse setting by going to configuration and then warehouses. Perfect. We're going to select Odoolicious. So since we have a loading zone that's separate from the rest of storage, we're going to choose for ours, pick, then deliver in 2 steps. Now, let's talk loading zones, shall we? So here's a quick overview of our locations. When we set outgoing shipments to 2 steps, the WH output location is automatically created. In our output zone, we have 2 docks. We've called them Dock A and Dock B in Odoo, and their parent location is that output location I just mentioned. Dock A is where we load smaller shipments onto the pickup truck. Dock B is for larger shipments on the cargo truck. Now, getting back to Odoo, they're set up in the operation type form. So we're going to go to configuration and then we're going to select operation types. So I'm going to open up the delivery orders operation type. So all the way down here at the bottom of this form is the batch and wave transfer section where we select the dispatch management checkbox right there. This setting is where we can specify our dock locations. So when the option is selected, the dock locations field over here to the right appears. Let's select our dock A and our dock B right there as locations, and we're going to manually save with our little cloud button up at the top. Perfect. So now we're going to move forward over here to our fleet application, because with our delivery and dock settings configured, let's make a detour now to set up our delivery vehicles. So I'm going to go to configuration, and then this time I'm going to select categories over here just to see all of our vehicle categories. So these categories specify the vehicle's capacity. Here we have pickup truck, and that takes fresh produce and smaller shipments of frozen goods in coolers. It has a max weight over here of 60, and that is in kilograms. And it can hold up to 5 cubic meters of volume, and that's kind of nice. We also have a cargo truck over here for big shipments. And this one has a max weight of 200 kilograms and a max volume of 40 cubic meters for items, and that's nice. So to change the units of measurement used for max weight and max volume, you're going to have to change them globally in the company settings located in the general settings section of the settings application. All right, up next, we're going to make sure the delivery vehicles are configured properly. So to do that, once again, make sure you're inside of the fleet application, and we're already here, which makes it kind of easy. So here, we're actually going to click on our list icon over here to the top right of our Kanban view, just to see the vehicles in the list view. Then you'll notice that we happen to have a category field. We're going to make sure each vehicle is assigned a category that we configured earlier. And as you've just seen me highlight, would you look at that? This Ford pickup truck hasn't been assigned a category yet. So let's go do that. So we're going to click it. All right, so here we are. We have our category field over here under the vehicle section, and we can select it. I'm going to choose pickup truck because that's what it is. All right, then manually save. So now it's time to see this all in action inside of the inventory application. So let's open it on up. So earlier I confirmed 5 sales orders for various fresh and frozen products. Doing that created these 5 picking operations that you can see right there under the pick card. Let's click this 5 to process button over here and start managing our dispatch. So if you remember, the pickup truck at dock A is good for individual orders, and the large cargo truck at dock B is good for larger bulk orders. So when doing our pickings, we're already thinking about which dock we're going to bring each order to. To identify the likely larger cargo orders from the list of pickings, you want to actually click into our search bar over here up at the top, and then you're going to select custom filter, and a initially scary pop-up appears. Inside of this first field, we're actually going to look for contact. Boom, there we go. And you want to click on the arrow next to the word contact right there. And now we're going to select our second condition by searching for is a company. Boom, there we have it right there. And then this time we just click right there. So we don't need to do anything else. So in this case, all we have to do is hit search. And look at that, we've enabled our custom filter. Great. This left us with 2 pickings, which we're going to move from WH out. Actually, in this case, we're going to move them from WH stock to an output location over here. So the picking automatically sets the destination location to be the output. And that's kind of nice. And this is output. But that isn't specific enough for us because we need these products at not output, but instead we need them at dock B. So to fix that, we're going to select both pickings, either individually or in my case, lazily, by selecting nice little checkbox over here to the top left. And you guessed it, this time around, we're going to click one of the 2 fields and we're going to change it over to dock B. And then look at that. Are you sure you want to update 2 records? This case, we do want to update to change both of them. And then we can now just click away. I'm going to expand this so you can see that I'm not a liar. And boom, would you look at that? Since we're done, everything is good to go. We've removed everything else, including our custom filter now from the search bar. So up next, I'm going to click the checkboxes for the other 3 pickings that we see over here in the center that don't happen to be at a dock either. And this time around, we're going to set the to field of one of them to that other dock A. And it's going to ask us once again if we'd like to update these. We do that, and boom, look at that. Now we can select this little X up at the top to get rid of all of that highlighting. And would you look at that? We've done it. Okay, so this time around, I want to select all of these. And you guessed it, this time we're going to select the actions button and then validate. Boom! Look at that. Let's go back to the inventory overview. Hi again. Judging by the orders now over here in our delivery orders card, I can tell that all the orders have been moved to output. So I'm going to click on this 5 to deliver button. Now it's time to pick the products from our orders into batches. So I'm going to select the check boxes for delivery orders at dock A. And we can actually just check that really quickly over here by clicking them over here in the center right there. And this time we're going to click actions up at the top center area. And then we're going to click add to batch. Boom. So over here we have our nice little pop-up. And in the add to field that we have over here, I'm going to select a new batch transfer to create a new batch. I'm going to set the responsible to be, in this case, it's going to be me. So perfect. Small little doopsie right there while I was trying to select my name. Okay. And if I were creating this batch for a later date, by the way, I'd tick the draft checkbox. Since I need the batch now, I'm going to click confirm. And just like that, we have a nice little indication over here in the top right. And I just need to click this link over here. All right, so here in the vehicle field that we have, I'm going to select the Toyota Tacoma pickup truck from the drop-down menu. The truck's weight and volume capacity automatically update, and Odoo actually displays right here in a neat little kind of, GUI interface how much space this batch uses as percentages of the available weight and volume. Oh no, my orders are too heavy. Okay, so let's go to the transfers tab that we have over here, and we're going to investigate which order is causing the issue. So I can actually see here that one of our most notorious ice cream loving customers has placed an order. If we click on our I want ice creams transfer in the list, it opens up a list of items they ordered. And maybe they happen to have multiple deep freezers because, wow, they've ordered 3 of each of our heaviest banana and strawberry ice cream tubs at 11 kilograms each. Oof. So if we actually close this window out over here, we can click on the X next to the line for our nice little culprit that we have to remove it from the batch. So I'm going to do that for this one. And then I'm going to manually save over here up at the top. And you'll notice it reduced the weight over there and everything fits on this truck. We're going to have to send that removed order in the future on our cargo truck instead. Just way too much ice cream. So anyway, now that this batch transfer is ready, let's prepare this truck for delivery. We can see this batch status in the top corner. And that happens to tell us that right now it is in progress. We also now have this map button over here that shows all of the customer addresses on a map. Our delivery drivers can click on this map button that we have right here to reveal a map with pinpoint icons for the addresses. We can also zoom in, we can zoom out, we can do a whole bunch of little stuff as needed to view them all. We can also click a specific transfer number in the left sidebar that we have over here to see the details of a delivery order. I can also click this View in Google Maps button that we have over here, and Google Maps will direct us from my warehouse's location to each of the drop-off locations that we have over here. If I wanted to, if you see these little white dots, I can also drag and drop them if I wanted to make my route customized or just maybe see a little bit more of that bay. And isn't that convenient? And there you have it. Today we learned how the dispatch management system helps us prepare batches for delivery, track truck capacity, and route our drivers to each destination so that we can fulfill our orders without a hitch. That's it for today. See you next time, Odooers. Go grab a snack.